Emily believes her 8-year-old stepdaughter may have been responsible for this horrible crime. But why would a jury believe her story? For the first time, one of the jury members is letting us inside their decision.
Emily Defries is on the attack, shocking police by pointing the finger at an 8-year-old girl who was about to become her stepdaughter, accusing that 8-year-old of killing her very own baby sister.
There are many other instances where children around the same age have killed their younger siblings. It's not inconceivable.
Defries has been charged with murdering little 20-month-old Annabelle. Her skull crushed and bruises found all over her body. Defries' defense says it's one of those bruises that proves it was Anna's older sister who killed her, not Emily Defries.
In one of the bedrooms, there was bunk beds. These bunk beds had drawers that would pull out. On the drawer, there was a handle. The handle was a crescent-shaped handle. A bruise was found on her stomach area, which we felt was indicative of that crescent-shaped handle and was reflective of having been thrown against that dresser, thrown against that drawer, which then would also have been responsible for the blunt force trauma to the head.
It's a clue, the defense claims, that opens up an entirely different scenario.
I don't think that, and I don't think we argued to the jury, that she premeditated anything. Number one, I don't think an 8-year-old can premeditate something like that. I think it's an issue of rage, it's an issue of emotion, it's an issue of a reaction that occurred when Anna was either playing in the 8-year-old's room or playing with her toys or something that got her upset, and she just took her and shook her and hit her up against the thing and left her there, and Anna very easily could have crawled to the stairs and fallen down the bottom of the stairs, easily.
The defense calls Anna's older sister to the stand. But when asked about her anger or whether she ever hurt her sister, she often answers, "I don't know," and "I don't remember."
She was very blasé about a lot of things and didn't really talk in terms of great emotion about her sister or great feelings towards her sister. So it's very difficult to get anything concrete.
After the 4-day trial, the question is put to the jury. Who was responsible for baby Anna's death? 24-year-old Emily or Anna's 8-year-old sister?
We thought that we had put a lot of these pieces of the puzzle together to be able to focus the attention on the 8-year-old. But that's a very difficult thing to a jury.
Foreman Robert Baker says the jury considered all the evidence, and no clear picture emerged of the moment Anna was killed.
Do you believe that Emily is a killer?
Well, this gets back to, is this a horrible accident gone wrong? Or, was she intent on, actually maliciously wounding this child? I didn't see that.
Less than a day later, the 12 men and women render a verdict. And despite some doubt, Emily Defries is found guilty of second-degree murder.
You believe Emily is responsible, but you're not 100% convinced that she's the one who actually did this to this baby.
Correct.
You're just not sure exactly how this happened, and that is the question.
That was the biggest question for me.
Is trying to figure that out.
I would like to have an easy answer, and there wasn't one. But ultimately, I think Emily is responsible for the safekeeping of that child, and it didn't happen.
That alone may have sealed Emily's fate.
Under the law, her being the only adult in the house is sufficient for the jury to find that she's responsible for the offense.
The jury hands down the sentence, 20 years in prison. It could have been 40.
It was a compromise, which reflected to me that it was a compromise in the jury room in terms of the guilt or innocence as well.
40 years have been very easy if we, had a video of her shaking and hitting the child against a wall or a hard surface, and, it's undisputable. But that wasn't the case. So the doubt crept in. I think that's where we resolved to the 20 years. It's almost a year for every month that the child was alive.
Compromise is no consolation to Anna's mom.
Why was her life only worth 20 years?
You feel that the sentence should have been harsher?
Yes.
At first, Anna's father stood by Emily Defries, but recently broke things off. Just 1 year into a 20-year sentence, Emily is still fighting to clear her name. Attorney Eric Korsland thinks she may have a chance. He's leading a team to appeal her conviction.
I think in this case the tragedy just really overshadowed her presumption of innocence. We shouldn't convict somebody and deprive them of their liberty for 2 decades because it's possible she could have done this.
How confident are you in overturning this verdict?
Unfortunately, not very confident. It's very difficult to overturn a verdict. The Court of Appeals is going to say the jury heard the case, the jury was there, they saw the witnesses, they made their decision.
But one tragedy overshadows them all. Little Annabelle is gone forever.
I loved her like she was mine. I fell in love with her. She was sweet. She was a very happy baby.
We did reach out to Brandon Bell, who stood by Emily during the trial to get his side of the story. He's not returned our calls. Now, you heard how conflicted the jury was, so I want to ask you, do you believe Emily? Up next, this guy is an expert in analyzing what people say and how they say it. We'll hear his take and whether or not he thinks Emily committed this horrible crime. That's next.